שערי צדק אבובם אודיה בי שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון מי מלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. We come together surrounded by our ministering angels. In other words, everybody who is joining us this evening, our wonderful congregation. We are sending you messages of love and of Sabbath peace this evening, and please send us plenty of messages back so that we all can communicate in congregation together. But for now, please do light your candles along with us if you haven't already done so. If you'd like to rise, then please do so. If you're seated at your table or wherever you are, please remain wherever you are and be comfortable.
You shall call the Sabbath a delight. These lights we kindle are a symbol of joy. May their brightness lift our spirits and fill our hearts with happiness and peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
And surrounded by our Sabbath angels, together let us read. The Sabbath has descended to enfold us in its mantle of peace. It brings to us the precious gift of time. Time to embrace family and friends, to reflect more deeply on the meaning and purpose of our lives, and to worship in the beauty of holiness. May our Sabbaths always be sanctuaries of love and devotion, bringing contentment to our hearts, happiness to our homes, and blessing to our people. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ba'funi l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzitzachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Before Hilton and Sandra commented, I thought that all our Shabbat angels are living abroad at the moment.
I know, it's quite remarkable.
But it's wonderful to have you all with us, wherever you are in the world, coming together for this Shabbat.
And we may have those who are also joining us, for they know that we are focusing on Jewish Women's Aid's Shabbat. And for everybody, we hope that this Sabbath has really descended to enfold us in its mantle of peace, bringing happiness and comforts, if it is needed, to our homes, blessing to our people.
The Eternal One reigns, let the earth rejoice.
Let the many isles be glad.
Clouds and darkness surround you.
Righteousness and justice the foundation of your throne.
Your lightnings illumine the world.
The earth sees and trembles
Mountains melt like wax before you, O God.
before the ruler of all the earth.
The heavens proclaim your righteousness.
And all the peoples behold your glory.
Zion hears and is
The
glad,
daughters of Judah rejoice in your judgments.
for you are supreme over all the earth.
You are exalted far above all other gods.
Light dawns for the righteous.
And joy for the upright in heart.
Let the righteous rejoice in you.
And give thanks to your holy name.
Yedid
Yedid nefesh av harachaman meshor avdecha eretz zonecha yarutz avdecha kamo hayad yishtachaveh el mul hadarecha ye'erav lo yedidotecha minochet suf v'chol ta'am higa alehena ufros haviva alai et sukat shelomecha ta'ir eretz mikvodecha nagila v'nismecha bach maher ehuf kiva moed v'chonenu ki me'olam. Please rise. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
Praise be the one to whom our praise is due.
We praise the Eternal One, to whom our praise is due forever.
Please be seated.
This version of Ma'ariv Aravim might be a little unfamiliar to many of you in the Hebrew, so if you do want to look at the transliteration, please feel free to do so as you join in, or just focus on the English translation below. Nevarech et Havaya, Ruach Olamim, Hasechel v'haseder, Hamamale et kol hateva, Asher bechukav me'oravim aravim, B'chokhma niftachim sha'arim, ובתבונה משתנים עיתים, ומתחלפים הזמנים, ומסתובבים הכוכבים, משמרותיהם ברקיע כטבעם. עוברים יום ולילה, נגלל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. עובר יום ונופל לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, ומסהירים צבאות השמיים. נברך את כבוד הטבע, המעריב ערבים.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך רבת, עמך רבת. תורת נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובכם נגע יומן ולילה, נגע יומן ולילה. אחוותך אל תעשור, עמנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. Please rise. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, v'b'chol nafshecha, v'b'chol ma'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha hayom, al levavecha. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Please be seated.
This truth is our faith, our faithfulness. Its proof stands on our very existence. The divine force within us and nothing else explains how we are still here as the people Israel. So many kings, emperors, dictators we have survived, for a power greater than them has saved our remnant from the blows of all the oppressors. We cannot fathom these great things, the numberless events beyond our grasp. We are still alive, body and spirit too, and though we have stumbled, we are still standing. Those ancient signs and wonders guide us to an enduring universal freedom, escaping narrow limits in a perpetual striving for what lies beyond. We are heirs of a mighty energy, which we name with praise and gratitude. Only the highest sovereignty can we accept willingly, as we respond in joy with the song of Moses, of Miriam, of all those sons and daughters of Israel.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu
Grant, eternal God, that we may lie down in peace, and let us rise up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your wise counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield us from sickness and war, from famine and distress, and keep us from wrongdoing. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you are our guardian and deliverer, a gracious and merciful God. Guard our going out and our coming in, that now and always we may have life and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel.
Please rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufiani tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufiani tehilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips, that my mouth shall declare your praise. Eternal God, open up my lips, that my mouth shall declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Emotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim v'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל.
מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים, רופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע. ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Please be seated if you wish. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין Toveim b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash. We join together. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. In your gracious love, Eternal One, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, Eternal One, for the holiness of the Sabbath. And we continue. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amacha Yisrael, utfilatam ba'ahavat kabel, utehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha b'yira na'avot. Modim anachnu lach, שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו לעולם ועד. צור חיינו מגן אישנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. נודה לך ונספר תהילתך, על חיינו המסורים בידיך, ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך, שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך, לך נאה להודות. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך הדור, לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך הדור, לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, עושה השלום. Say shalom bimromav, say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol bnei This Shabbat has been designated Jewish Women's Aid Shabbat. We may have heard of heightened concern for domestic abuse through the national media. The fact that women's deaths are being attributed to lockdown in homes with those who perpetrate physical, sexual, emotional, financial, or spiritual violence. We may have passed it by, thinking that this kind of thing does not occur in our neighborhoods or in Jewish homes. But this, of course, is absurd. Every month since April, Jewish Women's Aid has supported higher numbers of women compared to the previous year, and they are seeing an escalation of violence and trauma, not just among women but their children too. Between April and September, Jewish Women's Aid supported 545 women and children. 1 in 4 women will experience domestic abuse. 1 in 5 will experience sexual violence. 167 therapy sessions have been provided to children, a 67% increase from 2019. In this week's Sidra Toldot, in response to the pain that Rebecca is experiencing, she questions her existence. Lama zeh anochi? If so, why do I exist? The plain reading of the cause of the pain was from bearing children within her. Yet there may be many interpretations of the reasons for her pain. She seeks explanation from God. The response focuses on the legacy of her womb, her body. It does not mention her. 2 nations are in your womb. 2 separate people shall issue from your body. 1 people shall be mightier than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. Her question still rings out. If so, why do I exist? It is as universal and timeless as Abel's blood crying out to God from the ground. We talk of the home being mikdash ma'at, a small sanctuary, and the majority are. But we should not be ignorant of the facts of domestic abuse. The pandemic has only heightened the pressure. When has been prevalent during this year, a woman in an abusive home loses a job. She may become more financially dependent on her abuser. When an abuser loses a job, the potential for increased abuse towards a partner or children is heightened. We talk of our synagogues as being a mikdash, a sanctuary. They are only that when victims of abuse feel that they can seek sanctuary. Whilst we do not walk into our physical synagogue at this time, we do not see the multiple signs flagging domestic abuse and the resources that Jewish Women's Aid provide. May this evening and these words be a reminder that we can all provide sanctuary. We do so when we talk about the reality of abuse in the home, perpetrated by those whom we live with and among. We do so when we promote the resources that are available. We do so when we actively check in on each other's well-being. We do so when we call out all cases of misogyny. We do so when we applaud the political correctness of teaching in schools and youth movements such as LJY Netzer. We do so when we call politicians and public figures who act as role models to account. We do so when victims of domestic abuse feel that they can enter our sanctuary, the physical building, and the very real presence of this congregation, and dwell in the shelter of the Most High, in the shadow of the Almighty, saying to the Eternal One, "You are my refuge and my stronghold, my God in whom I trust. You cover me with your wings and shelter me under your care." To that, may we act so that we can then say, Amen.
Amen.
Let us together rise and move to our concluding prayers and say together, Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen va'amen. Baruch Adonai Elohim, Elohei Yisrael, Osei niflaot levado, Uvaruch Shem Kavodo Le'olam, Yimalech Kavodo et kol haaretz, Amen va'amen. And we continue. The eternal God shall rule over all the earth. On that day the eternal God shall be one and known to be one. May your love, O God, rest upon us, as we rest our hope in you. All the nations that you have made shall come and bow down before you, and honor your name.
Let God be praised by day.
Let God be praised by night.
Let God be praised when we lie down.
Let God be praised when we rise up.
Avinu Shabashamayim, our God in heaven, let your unity be acknowledged and your sovereignty established forever. Reign over us now and always.
Adonai, Melech Adonai, Malach Adonai, Yimloch le'olam, va'ed. There are stars whose radiance is visible on earth, though they have long been extinct. There are people whose brilliance continues to light the world, though they are no longer among the living. These lights are particularly bright when the night is dark. They light the way for humanity. And on this Shabbat, we do remember a yahrzeit of somebody who did die many years ago, of Alex Davis, the uncle of Paul or David Custo, who was a flying officer in Coastal Command, and whose plane came down in the Channel in 1943. Age 26, he was never seen again. And we remember the yahrzeits of Israel Siegel, the father of Barbara Fraser, Sheila Goldberg, the mother of David, Dina and Charles Lubin, parents of Marilyn Siegel and in-laws of Colin, and David Jesnick, the husband of Philippa and father of Joe Rose and Karen Magnin. And we regret to announce these recent deaths of Herta Stifel, the grandmother of Gary and great-grandmother of Ethan and Amelie, and of Stephen Hyams, the husband of Marion, father of Nicole and Rachel and brother of Maureen, and Sylvia Hyams, the mother of Lynn. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be a blessing to all those who mourn. As we join our voices together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ba'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. V'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה. וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו. הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ועל כל בני אדם. ואמרו amen. Before we conclude our service, I do say to all of those who have joined us from literally four corners of the earth, please do look as we put our holding screen up at the end of this service. It would be so lovely to see you in Kiddush and to be able to celebrate with you. We totally understand we're not busting into your privacy. So if you prefer not, then no problem at all. But it would be so lovely to see you all if you would like to join us. The details of the Zoom Kiddush will be on that holding screen. And members who get a weekly update, you can hit it anyway at that moment in time. Linda, it is so lovely to have a service for all of our singing. All of us singing together. Well done, Rabbi Leah. Wow, I'm getting a compliment today. I think it's just because the other singers are not here.
Yeah, this really has been an incredible evening for us. On evenings such as this, normally, maybe 25, maximum 30, I would think, in the congregation with us. Tonight we've had around 45 households joining us this evening. We hope you've enjoyed the peace and quiet of this service. Felt, if you have needed it, the mantle of peace upon you, and also been able to celebrate and sing songs for the Sabbath. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון, להקיא בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. Grant, eternal God, that we may lie down in peace. Let us rise up to life renewed. Eternal God, spread over us the shelter of your peace. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Itkuli Sharei Tzedek Avovam Odeya Bitkuli Sharei Tzedek Avovam Odeya